Hi there. Good evening. Let's see, it's 5:24, 18:35 here. For whatever that matters. Anyway, I have been a bit more prolific of late after that series of weeks, maybe a few months. I don't know, I'm bad on time, when that wasn't the case. And it feels rather good. So, I have some video or some journals built up that I want to get out there so that I can keep the flow going. This one is from Sunday, 5/19, the first one of that day. And the Mayan day was 10 offering or water. Free will is an amazing thing. It can be viewed from many perspectives, including some that negate it. I don't know about you, but I'm quite glad to live in a world where such flexibility is possible. And once we disconnect from a lot of the social, the peer pressure thing, well, that which makes us want to fit in with others, then there are no limits at all, not even the sky. Now, as usual, sink down in heart for this. That's where I am. If you want to hear me, you've got to get out of your head. So, the 12Ds want me to do a live interaction with them. No doubt I will. Yet, they would absolutely not hold it against me in any way if I chose not to. Unconditional love is just that. Unconditional. There are no hoops to jump through, no one to please, no manipulation of any kind, conscious, subconscious, or otherwise. In the absence of a dominating mind, life is so much more pleasant. Do put heart in control and see what is meant. Now, I bet there are things in your life that you feel that you should do. That's the ideal situation for mind control, for mind to control you, your mind control you. Do you let it do that? No, let me rephrase. How much do you let it get away with that? We all do, to one extent or another. It comes with the territory. I like that saying. It says a lot. So, what is the territory? In this case, it was living with 3D mind, for it's mind that has been pretty thoroughly conditioned and programmed on planet Earth. At least if you participate in current technology, which is designed to deeply embed subliminals manipulation. With both TV and game systems running at 60 and 120 hertz, when the human eye can decode only around 24 and maybe into the 30s, well, where's the need for that? Why would that be? TV was originally designed with the viewer in mind, so it presented images at about 20 or so per second, 20 hertz. If they were presented any slower than that, we would catch that it was all just a bunch of still pics going by. So it had to be adapted to our brain's ability to decode, to make it look like motion, because it really is a bunch of stills. Well, that made sense. Now the viewing stream is presented at far too many images per second for the conscious mind to decode. But you can bet that the subconscious mind takes each and every one of them in. That's what subconscious minds do. We have amazing abilities. We just don't know about them. So it appears that only part of the programming is designed for the viewer, for the conscious mind. The rest is for the other, deeper aspects of mind. Now, why would that be? It's pretty interesting, wouldn't you say? I'm going to include a link here that no doubt some of you have already seen. It may be old, even though it's a recent upload. It covers someone supposedly, and maybe so, catching out the mainstream news, flashing a subliminal that was caught by the cricket picture she snapped. It's called Woman Captures Subliminal Message on the Mainstream News. Kill. I want to bring something, an old Illuminati tactic, to your attention. But first, be sure to drop down into heart, center outside of the head, so you're in touch with your own intuition, your deeper self, with some of those powers that the conscious mind has had hidden from it. Now, keep in mind that the powers that were have had fantastically advanced technology for many decades that they have kept to themselves. We have a space fleet. Did you know that? We have free energy, but of course, and time travel and a host of such things that they just don't want us to know or even have an idea about. So let's start there. Now, if you don't know about or can't accept all of this, that's fine. Just accept, if you will, that the possibility exists. Okay? It just could be the case. That's all I ask. Moving on. The tactic I want to mention is how they come out with books and movies illustrating what looks like futuristic stuff, only to have it all or mostly come true. Most stuff that appeared on the old Star Trek series is now current technology, and Orwell's book 1984 is often used to illustrate current happenings. I'm not saying it is why they release this prescient stuff, but one use of it is this. When something comes up today, they can run to the old media, bring it up, and say, oh, look, this is just fiction. It comes from a book, a movie, or whatever. And so when things start to get out about the kind of technology they use, well, they can say it's a rumor, an invention, it's just bunk. You know, they love to make fun of people who want to find and expose truth. Now, in the present case, this film about the subliminal caught in a digital image. There is a commenter in this thread saying it's from a movie trailer, one he refuses to name. Someone mentions the old movie They Kill, which I'm familiar with, where such subliminals were the order of the day and everyone was subject to them. Please note, I am not saying one way or another whether I believe this clip is accurate. That is so not my point. The fact that subliminals are used on us is so well documented that, well, I think it would be stupid to argue it. The info is out there and widely available for decades to anyone who would care to look, with an open mind, of course. The point I'm making is more subtle than that. It goes to how we're made to question ourselves, to question what we've seen, what we believe, and each other. In short, to be unsure, off balance. This is a major tactic of theirs, keeping us off balance just enough so they can continue to manipulate. Do you see? Do you feel? If you're in heart, you can feel it. Now, I suspect a disinfo agent is among those commenting on this thread. Check it out for yourself. And if you'll just stay in heart when you watch and read such things, you'll be a heck of a lot more likely to spot both what's real and what's fake. Those posing as regular YouTubers who are most likely working with or for or funded by some alphabet soup bunch, like the CIA and Facebook, just for a typical, well-established, factual example. And when you watch it from heart, you can feel the person's energy. You can feel their intent and whether there's light or dark in it. So, you and I, we're reprogramming our minds, taking them back to undo all that childhood programming we so innocently took in. Well, very good. As we stick to heart, this goes faster and faster. Things are just easier to spot there, especially once we get rid of a lot of the old innocent beliefs, well, not innocent, but innocently taken in, that were standing in our way, not allowing us to see clearly what was right in front of our nose. Well, that's how beliefs work. They're powerful things. As a part of taking our power back, redoing the programming, only this time our way, with our chosen beliefs, we're also re-educating mind. Not only to see into itself how it works and how it's been manipulated, but how the other side, the powers that were, works. They have a set of pretty basic playbooks with some overarching strategies and tactics found across the board. One of the main strategies is divide and conquer, getting us to separate out endlessly. Look at today's specialization. It's a product of this. I look at the whole ultra specialization thing with suspicion these days. Could they be behind it? Behind the way all the specialists stick to their own territory and don't seem to ever come together? Well, they could. The push to divide us is what produces all wars. Well, it goes into the production of all wars. They couldn't do it absent our cooperation, because all wars start with the aggression that's inside of each one. If you fight inside, there will be fighting outside. So, they get us to thinking this or that group is a danger to us. And they may have evil intentions. They've got to be stopped. The whole Cold War thing illustrates this point beautifully. And we fell for it for all those years. You see, if we get far enough behind the scenes, if we get to the off-world stuff, to the real powers behind the powers that were, those who really run things, we find beings with lifetimes lasting multiple thousands of years. Now back into heart with you. A lot of you slipped out into head here. Now, just open to the possibility long enough to let me make my point. If you lived thousands of years before the body died, and you loved power and dominating others, having slaves, how would that work? What could you do to make the whole thing work much more easily? You know, mankind's lifetime was once centuries and even in the thousands of years. I have a few suggestions to make. You could, first of all, take a species you wanted to control and alter its DNA to drastically shorten its lifespan. You know how the U.S. Congress, as a for instance, makes all these short-term decisions? They only seem to care what happens while they are in office. They're not even looking at their own lifespan. They're after re-election. They just look at the budget. Yeah, just look at the budget for an obscene example of this. There is no care for the future at all, even 20 years downstream, much less into future generations. Short lifespans narrow down your vision. People tend to mostly care about the self, right? About what applies to them. With these little bitty lifespans, along with the divide and conquer thing, you can gain a fair amount of dominance over a race of beings. It does take separating them out, though, for if they realize how they are really all one in a fractal or a quantum sort of a way, it won't work. They'll get together. Okay, still in heart then, let's look at it from their point of view, the hidden controllers, the off-world guys. Their children are most likely in school for a century or several. To them, as Alex Collier puts it, coming to Earth and staying for 60 years or so is like a weekend to us. Just nothing in a relative sense. Now stick with heart. Do you get the feel of this? Don't be afraid, please. You won't be tainted by the darkness. You can't be hurt. Just remember, you are source, and this is more like a dream than reality. 3D. Are you up for that? I hope it's not too much at once. We're just having an adventure, doing some exploration, playing with some what ifs. And you know, there's no such thing as a dark switch, my friend. The dark beings, you know, when you come into a room and you turn on a light, it erases the darkness. That's just how that works. So, if you live a very, very, very long time, then having plans that encompassed a few centuries would be nothing. That would even be normal. Do you see? And mankind, having been made so short-sighted in the ways I've mentioned, would not be alert to this. Not at all. They're stuck on the surface. They think they're only 3D. For all man and womankind knows, new people are born all the time. The leaders really do change, and there's no one consistently pulling any strings. People die, you know? Okay, still in heart? Well, now come back into you, into the now here perspective, and let's look. Look at the way the truth has slowly, over time, been eradicated, been erased from our textbooks. And look at the gradual way that was done. Does it make you suspicious? Let's look even just at what we know of history, which isn't much. It would take a great deal of stepping back, of viewing it over much longer periods to be able to spot the overall consistency of the manipulation, the control behind the scenes. Now, David Icke is a very brave soul who has devoted his life to the research of this. He's collected so many facts and put them together side by side, where the threads running through it all can begin to be seen. Say what you will about him. What he's brought forth has a lot of good stuff in it. Now, stay with heart. For those of you who were able to follow all the way to abandon mind's limited perspective enough to enter deeply into this, take a bit of time to let things settle out now. It will bring change. Things will be shifting inside, making room for the new possibilities you've spotted. And you don't have to do diddly squat about it. It just goes on, all by itself. Some old things may pop up, even emotions, things perhaps long repressed, such as fear of the dark and the bad guys. But heck, it could be literally just anything. By staying in heart, though, you're in the best position to make the most of it. No need to do anything. Just watch. When you're in heart, it could be said that you're watching the higher self handle things. That's an awkward way of putting it, but it can be fun. You were brave enough to adopt a truly flexible perspective, to leap off a few cliffs. Now that pays off, but in some strange ways. We're all growing and expanding out in our various ways, my friends. And I hope we're all sharing, because we're all being shown different things, unique things. And we all have a certain expertise that will bless and benefit the rest. The more we choose to let fear go, the more adventurous we get. On some level, all we are doing is experiencing other aspects of the one, the overall self. There are endless ways to view things. The important thing in my book is to let all of those views be from heart, to take advantage of heart vision. It doesn't really matter what the perspectives are. They're all fun, they're all illuminating, each in their own way. Now, come on, admit, own up to the reality that you're a bad guy too in some of those other lives of yours. So, let's not be snooty and judgmental. So now, when we come back down, as it were, from the adventure, and after giving self the time to adapt, what has changed? Well, we have, of course. So check it out. Now, when you look at such links as the one I gave you here and read the comment threads, you will notice a subtle difference. Or maybe not so subtle. After each such adventure, you bring back with you new abilities, new ways of viewing things. You have tried on new perspectives, so now you will be better able to spot them in others. You'll be more alert, in this instance, to some of the Illuminati tactics, their methods of control. You'll just be that much better at spotting their trolls. Let yourself expand, my friends. Ditch the fear stuff. When it comes up, don't run from it. Stand there and just look. Look, too, to see what's beneath it. What's the motivating factor there, huh? What beliefs is that based on? And then look to those beliefs. See if they're still current. If there's something you want to retain, maybe they're just part of the programming. And then you're ready to abandon them, perhaps. always your choice. Namaste. Now, P.S., just to be clear, what I'm saying here doesn't at all rest on the truth or not truth of the video clip. I'm just using that as a takeoff to discuss the issues. Good day.